Says Michael Popok, Legal AF. Rudy Giuliani is going to have to sit for every minute of every day for the trial in December about how big of a check he's going to write to election workers and mother-daughter Ruby Freeman and Shay for their defamation case brought against him. That's because we got a new order just today to end the day with Beryl Howell, the chief judge or former chief judge in the D.C. Circuit Court, federal court, in which she has set out a timeline, an aggressive timeline, to get the case only on damages because she already, as the judge ruled as a default judgment sanction against Rudy Giuliani just a couple of weeks ago, he doesn't have any defenses. Liability's already been established by the judge. The judge has already found by way of default and sanctions that Rudy has defamed them with malice and caused them punitive damages. Now she turns it over to a jury starting on December the 11th, 2023 in her courtroom for jury selection, in which the jury's sole task, because the judge has already ruled against Rudy Giuliani, the sole task for them is how big of a check that he's going to have to pay to them. And if Rudy thought he was going to be able to get away with what Donald Trump did in the civil defamation and sexual abuse case, sexual assault case brought by E. Jean Carroll in a New York federal courthouse by not showing up at all, that has been taken off the table completely by Judge Beryl Howell, obviously knowing that Rudy and his best friend client, Donald Trump, he probably wants to follow in those footsteps. Donald Trump went everywhere but the courthouse during the trial brought by E. Jean Carroll that she won with a 9-person jury in New York over the summer, and in which they awarded her over $5 million. But Donald Trump never appeared. He threatened to appear. He went on social media to appear, that he was going to testify. He went to Scotland for some golf course opening and said if it wasn't for the golf course opening and this ribbon cutting, I'd be in that courtroom testifying. But he never testified. He never will testify because he's a coward. And I'm sure Judge Beryl Howell was worried that Rudy Giuliani taking a page out of that playbook for Donald Trump would also not testify. So without having any oral argument, any hearing in her courtroom, she ruled in this minute order, which is often how justice is administered in this country. Sometimes you get a long opinion or memorandum and opinion decision. Sometimes you just get a minute order that shows up one moment on the docket, the electronic filing for everything in the case. And we just got one with her scheduling order where she has laid out by October the 16th, the parties have to file their pretrial motions with a date for a response. By November 14th, the parties have to file a pretrial statement together. By November 20th, they have to file any trial briefs that are going to go to the judge. On December the 5th, they have to appear for a pretrial conference. And on December 11th, they are picking a jury, a federal jury. And then finally, for good measure, both parties, and I'm sure this isn't a problem for Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman, and Rudy Giuliani must be present in person for the duration of the trial. That means Rudy can't take time off to go do a fundraiser, can't take time off to participate in anything in his criminal cases. He's now been ordered by a federal judge to show up every day. So there won't be an empty chair in the courtroom as if he acts like he doesn't care about these things. Now, if I'm Rudy Giuliani, although I've seen stranger things from this person who's now been sued 4 different times and indicted once and almost indicted twice over the summer, including just this past summer, Rudy Giuliani is indicted for 13 counts in Georgia, including criminal conspiracy to interfere with an election. He's an unindicted for now co-conspirator in Jack Smith's DC election interference case that's pending, likely to be added as a named co-conspirator in the next version of the indictment, the superseding indictment that we all expect. His former colleague, office administrator, PR person, Nicole Dunphy, is suing him right now in state court for over $10 million because of sexual harassment and sexual abuse. Today, Cassidy Hutchinson, a hero a hero and witness to history for the Jan 6 committee, for Jack Smith, for Fawny Willis against Mark Meadows and everybody else, because she was the inside right-hand person for Mark Meadows. She says she was sexually groped and attacked by Rudy Giuliani on Jan 6th. Rudy Giuliani's former best friend, law partner, and colleague in the U.S. Attorney's Office is suing him for over $1.3 million for unpaid legal fees. And now he's got to sit and listen to every moment of every hour of every second of the Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman defamation case, with Beryl Howell presiding, in which all the evidence is going to be presented in a way that ultimately a jury's going to decide he owes them tens of millions of dollars. I'm going to follow it right here on Legal AF, only on the MeidasTouch network. I do hot takes like this one at the intersection of law and politics about every hour, if not every day. And I co-anchor a show on Wednesdays and Saturdays exclusively on the MeidasTouch network called Legal AF. Until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF episode, this is Michael Popok reporting.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.